After being trampled by horses, Lesley Lupo lay dead for 14 minutes but watched the scene surrounding her from 15 feet away. The near-death experience she had 31 years ago is hard to believe, as not everyone has experienced it themselves. Out-of-body experiences are a medical mystery. They are an unexplained phenomenon in which people feel like they are floating outside themselves, like they are in a dream. Research suggests that about 10% of people have had an OBE at least once, so there must be more to it than a wish to live forever or an overactive imagination. Today, we bring you 5 recounts of out-of-body experiences that you will find intriguing. So without further ado, let's get started. In 2014, researchers from the University of Ottawa observed the brain activity of a 24-year-old Canadian woman who claimed she could leave her body at will. When she was bored at nap time while in preschool, she claimed she taught herself how to leave her physical body behind. While in college, she attended a lecture about OBEs and was surprised to learn that she could leave her body, but it was an uncommon practice. The woman said that she usually has an out-of-body experience right before falling asleep and that leaving her body actually helps her fall asleep. During her out-of-body experiences, her physical body would sometimes rotate. Detailing her account of an out-of-body experience, "I feel myself moving," or, more accurately, "I can make myself feel as if I am moving. I know perfectly well that I am not actually moving." There is no duality of body and mind when this happens. In fact, I am hypersensitive to my body at that point because I am concentrating so hard on the sensation of moving. While studying her self-induced out-of-body experience, researchers Claude Messier and Andrew Smith interviewed her and performed a brain scan for more information. They found that the woman's brain activities during the self-induced out-of-body experience were limited to the left hemisphere. This is unusual because both sides of the brain are usually engaged when we imagine things. Another odd aspect of her brain was the deactivation of her visual cortex. The visual cortex is usually activated when one imagines something happening in their mind. Researchers concluded that out-of-body experiences need to be researched more before they can be explained more clearly. There is, however, a possibility that the phenomenon may be more widespread than we realize. It's feasible that people with this extraordinary skill do not think it exceptional in any way and thus do not share it with others. It's also likely that we all have this capacity as children but lose it as we age. In 1968, Charles Tart, a professor at the University of California, Davis, studied Miss Z, a woman who claimed she could leave her body at any time. The experiment involved putting a random 5-digit number written on a piece of paper on a shelf over the woman's bed. The woman's objective was to induce an out-of-body experience on her own, verify the number, and then tell Dr. Tart and his team when she awoke. After Miss Z went to sleep, the number was chosen, written down on a piece of paper, and placed in an opaque envelope. As the study progressed, Dr. Tart remained in the room with the woman to ensure she did not get up at any time to check the number. When Miss Z awoke and correctly identified the number on the shelf, Dr. Tart was stunned. His first thought was that perhaps the number was reflected on something in the room that was reflective. However, the only object with a reflective surface was a clock face. Both Dr. Tart and his assistant lay on the bed to try and see the number on the clock face. As a result of the dim lighting in the room, Dr. Tart and his assistant concluded that the number could not be seen on the clock face. As described by Dr. Tart, Miss Z might have experienced out-of-body experiences for the following reasons. My informal observations of her over several months, undoubtedly distorted by the fact that one can never describe one's friends objectively, resulted in a picture of a person who in some ways was quite mature and insightful, and in other ways so extremely disturbed psychologically that at times, when she lost control, she could possibly be diagnosed as schizophrenic. Over the years, people who have survived cardiac arrest have said they could see and remember what happened during their resuscitation. As a result, research was conducted at 15 hospitals in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Austria in 2014 to look for suspected out-of-body experiences among those who had experienced cardiac arrest resuscitation. Each hospital put shelves in areas where cardiac arrest resuscitation was most likely to happen. This was done to verify the claims of visual awareness during cardiac arrest resuscitation. Each shelf had a random image on top of it that could only be viewed from the ceiling. Interviews were conducted with cardiac arrest survivors who were resuscitated at the chosen hospitals. During resuscitation, 2 individuals, in particular, reported specific auditory or visual awareness. Unfortunately, however, one of the patients could not proceed with the trial due to poor health. Another patient, a 57-year-old male, reported seeing what was happening in the room from the top corner during his resuscitation. According to the man, he was looking down at the room. The patient remembered the sounds, people, and events in the room during his resuscitation. His medical records indicate that an automated external defibrillator was utilized during his resuscitation, which he mentioned in his interview. The man was resuscitated in a room with no shelves, so, unfortunately, his out-of-body experience could not be studied any further. Nevertheless, even if clinically undetectable, the study strongly suggests that conscious awareness could be present during cardiac arrest. Recently, 210 patients with dizziness and 210 without dizziness were studied and compared by a neuroscientist, Christopher Lopez, from Aix-Marseille University, and a vestibular disorder doctor, Maya Elzier. 14% of the 210 patients who had dizziness also said they had out-of-body experiences. Among those without dizziness, only 5% claimed to regularly experience out-of-body experiences. There was a higher chance of having an out-of-body experience if you were feeling dizzy, depressed, or anxious. In this study, researchers think people's out-of-body experiences might be caused by damage to the inner ear's vestibular systems. This system aids them in controlling their balance and eye movements. It is common for dizziness and floating sensations to be caused by problems with the vestibular system. Moreover, the study found that, in most cases, out-of-body experiences only occur after patients first experience dizziness. "36-year-old Lesley Lupo, who experienced an OBE, died for 14 minutes before coming back to life. I popped out of my body, and I stood about 15 feet away, and this was mind-blowing for me because I didn't have any spiritual inclinations," said Lupo, who wrote the book Every Breath is Precious. Initially, Lupo didn't understand what was happening at the ranch in Tucson as more than 8 horses trampled on her. She said, "I watched myself get caught in this, and I was almost, like, very slow motion, you know." Lupo didn't feel any pain. While her body was experiencing physical pain, she felt serenity. Lupo appeared to be in another realm as a group of people rushed to her aid. She refers to it as upstairs, which can be a reference to heaven for others. Lupo, an atheist, was lost in all of the uncertainty. "Tucson just started fading away," said Lupo. It started, movement around me, and suddenly, I'm in a forest. It was like an oak forest with a river behind me, and there were ferns and moss, and it was very, very lush, and the serenity I felt on earth when I was watching myself let go of my body. It was like taking off a body girdle that was 4 sizes too small and putting it on the bed. I was like, woo. She recalled meeting people she had never met before. It was not easy to recover from the experience. A feeling of isolation plagued Lupo. One of the reasons was that no one believed her, which was physically and mentally traumatizing for her. She was told by her doctor that she was hallucinating. According to her, there was no drug reaction, and she wasn't on any drugs. So the question remains, why do people have out-of-body experiences? The answer is simple yet complex. Let us explain. The scientific community has not yet reached a conclusive explanation for OBEs. Most researchers, however, agree that psychological and neurological factors play a part in the strange experience. Occasionally, they are caused by extreme physical strain. It is possible that you are more likely to experience OBEs if you have neurological conditions such as epilepsy. There is also a possibility that they will occur more frequently. That concludes our video on out-of-body experiences. From these real-life accounts, which one did you find the most intriguing? Or, in your opinion, which one is the most credible? Please let us know in the comment section. Make sure to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe for more future content. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next one.